Hey cruise people, it's Paul, your cruise boss, and I'm here tonight with a special guest. I've got with me my boss-in-law. This is Ann Runnels. Say hi, Ann.
Hi.
And we're here tonight to talk about a recent experience that they had. My father-in-law and the boss-in-law here both went on a Carnival cruise recently, and they were telling us about the story. It was something that we helped them get set up with. And so I thought it was such a great story, and actually it's a few stories that I asked if she would come on with me as a special guest this week. So thanks for coming on.
Sure, happy to do so.
All right. Now you guys went on the Carnival Breeze sailing out of Galveston. It was a 7-day cruise.
Yes.
And then you told me on your very first day that you met someone special at lunch.
Yes. So it was our first Carnival cruise. I've cruised a lot of times before. But the reason I wanted to go on a Carnival cruise is because it's only 3 hours from home. And it meant I could go cruising more often if it worked out well. So my very first experience getting on the ship, it was great getting on. But Paul had told me about going up to the Italian restaurant, and that you could eat there and get a disc. You don't have to pay the upcharge on the meal when you're waiting to get to your room. So this was a tip that I thought was really a good deal, and we decided to try it out. And when I walked in, the hostess name was Vanessa. Vanessa turned out to be one of my best friends during the whole entire cruise, because it turned out she was everywhere we wanted to be and everywhere we were. And she spoke with us for probably at least 30 minutes off and on between helping other people to get their tables. She was very helpful, helped us pick our meal. It was lovely, but we expected that because we were in a restaurant. But what we didn't expect was that everywhere we went, Vanessa remembered us. Literally, she would come up, call us by name, and just welcome us to every single place that we were. She was everywhere. So she became one of our favorite people. And I did want to let her know that I was so impressed with her. And she was part of the reason that we've already booked another cruise with Carnival.
That's great. And what she's talking about is the Cucina del Capitano on the Carnival cruise ships on the days when you're boarding. It's frequently not very busy in the Cucina. You can walk right in there at lunch. You can't get into your room yet, so you might as well go have someplace nice to relax and have a meal, sit down kind of a meal. You don't have to go up and fight the crowds at the buffet. And it's kind of a cool tip when you first get on the ship to go ahead up there and grab some lunch and have some relaxing time while you're waiting for your room to get ready.
The pasta was awesome.
And the food turned out to be good too.
It was really good. It was a perfect suggestion. Thank you, Paul.
You bet. And you did something else that was special too when it came to dining. Do you want to tell them about the chef's table?
Oh, wow. Well, thanks to my daughter and son-in-law, they ordered us the chef's table because it was our 40th anniversary. We had been on chef's table before, and this one was really unique and different. And I actually really enjoyed it because before we've always been in a very formal room, and it was very formal attire and very, you just didn't, it was a nice meal, but that was about it. This was just amazing because they took us into the galley, and they showed us how to make some of the hors d'oeuvres that they were making. We had a fabulous meal and met a lot of really wonderful people. The people in the galley, the people that worked for Carnival in the galley, they were so friendly to us. And by the time we left, we were, hugging friends. It was that kind of thing. And so that's one thing I really loved, Paul, was that they were so friendly, and it was so much more relaxed. You didn't have to feel like you had to eat with the right spoon necessarily, which I will say we probably didn't every time. But the thing that I really loved the most was at the end of the meal, unexpectedly, and unordered by anyone. I assumed at first that it was ordered by my son-in-law and daughter, but it wasn't. The Chef Cletus showed up with a double chocolate cake tart in the shape of hearts with chocolate strawberries, and chocolate sprinkles all over everywhere. It was just beautiful, and the whole entire galley gathered and sang happy anniversary to us. as well as the other guests at the table. It was just mind-boggling that they took the time out, and how they knew that it was our anniversary probably was from the steward who had put up all of the things, and she knew we were going to the chef's table. So her name was Anna. And all of the people in the galley, oh my goodness. Again, it's one of the reasons, literally, we came home and rebooked. So we are ready to go again, and I'm looking forward to it.
So if you haven't been on Carnival, frequently, most of their ships, if not all of them, have an opportunity to have a special dining experience called the Chef's Table. And if you want, when you book your cruise, you can request a reservation. It used to be, back in the day when we first started sailing on Carnival, you had to wait till you got on the ship and then hope for the best, because usually there's only 12 to 16 slots available. And you go in and you have a tour of the galley. They show you how to make the chocolate melting cake. They give you a little card with a recipe on it. And you get to sit down and have a multi-course meal with all of your newfound friends.
It's fabulous food.
Fabulous food. It is. It's really the only fine dining experience that is available on these ships. Everything's prepared in small batches. It's all just the 12 to 16 entrees and things that are made. And then they have a wine pairing that goes with it.
Oh, yes. And
it's everything from early courses. You have an amuse-bouche. You have, at the end, you have special desserts made by the chef. So it's really a great treat. It's usually, I think it's $95 a person, so it's not inexpensive. But for that money, I can't recommend it highly enough. It's really a great experience on Carnival. And they do it as well as anybody that's out there. And as a matter of fact, some of the other lines that we like to sail, Norwegian, for example, Brandy and I love to sail Norwegian as well, and they don't do the chef's table on their ships anymore. So it's really nice to be able to go to Carnival cruises now and still enjoy the chef's table, and the meals are amazing, prepared right for you at the table there. So thanks for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and then, like most cruises, at the end you get the, as they like to say on my one of my favorite YouTube channels, if you're not watching the folks on Lolita and Loca, go over and watch Tony and Jenny. They're hysterical. They're a lot of fun. But they always talk about the last day of the cruise. It's always the cruise blues, right? You're packing, you're doing all the stuff, you're getting ready to get off the ship. It's kind of the day you're like, oh, I wish this could go another week or so. And then a lot of times, because you're so busy doing stuff, you may leave something behind. Now, you left something behind in your stateroom, didn't you?
Oh my goodness. So I was so organized. The night before, everything was packed. Literally, there was nothing I was worried about. I had my carry-ons ready. I was ready to go. However, I sat down on the bed just for a minute with my phone in my hand. And I reached to do something, laid my phone on the bed, and then we got up and left because we ended up out in the parking lot. We were down in front of the shovel ready to go, and they asked me what parking lot that I was parked in. And I reached for my phone only to find that my phone was not there. My iPhone, which are not cheap. And I freaked out because it's my business phone. And I could not believe how panicked I was, but everyone around me was so calm. It blew me away. This young man the porter who had brought me out, because I had special assistance, he brought me out in a wheelchair. He said, I'll go get it. And I said, but I told him the room number, and within 8 minutes, he had already managed to find someone to go up to my room, find the phone, laying on the bed, brought it back, and I was so excited, was able to get on my shuttle, and we were on the road within 45 minutes after we had left the ship. So, and that was from getting to my car and unloading the luggage and riding around in the shuttle. So I was totally amazed at this. However, Paul, the story didn't end there.
No, and there's actually two parts of the story that I want to make sure we talk about. One of them was that during all this time, you met somebody that was in charge of the debarkation at Carnival. And what was her name?
Letha.
Letha.
We love Letha. Letha was right there with me, holding my hand. She was not worried about it. She said, he's going to find the phone. She got the porter to go up and get everything. And she was just absolutely awesome. And we were hugging friends when we left because I found that phone. which was a business phone that had things in it that I couldn't replace. So I was really just so relieved that the customer service efforts of Carnival was just mind-boggling. And so do you want me to tell about
Yeah, so you actually had a chance to see Letha again.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. It was unfortunate in a way. But I got home to my friend's house where we were spending the night. Thank goodness we didn't go all the way to Central Texas where I live, but we'd gone nearby to a friend to spend the night. And that night when my husband got ready to go to bed, he said, "Where is my kit that has the thing for my hearing aids and etc." And I looked at him and I went, "The hanging bag." And the hanging bag was still back at the terminal in the luggage area because I told him 4 bags and there were really 5. Because originally the hanging bag was a carry-on. So now I'm in a real panic because this is most of his clothes were in the hanging bag. So we jumped up the next morning real early. We drove back down to the terminal and I walk in the door and who should I see but Letha. And Letha said, "Ms. Reynolds." Now that boggled my mind there because, that was from the day before and she had lots and lots of people that were leaving for luggage and organizing. However, Letha remembered my name and she said, "Mr. and Ms. Reynolds, are y'all embarking with us again?" And I said, "Well, I only can wish, but I have lost this piece of luggage." And she called a young man over and within probably under 8 minutes or under 10 minutes again, my piece of luggage was in my hand. We were out. The other person that I want to mention, Paul, was when we pulled up. I didn't want to have to go park my car and ride a shuttle over and then figure out how to get back. I pulled up, told the young man in the parking lot, his name was Darren or Daryl or something, but anyway, he was such a nice young man and he said, "No problem, you park right here," and he put cones around my car up front and back and helped me get into the building, and then that's where I ran into Letha again. So I was really blown away by the customer service of Carnival. So
there's actually quite a few different things going on here, right? So we have the port of Galveston folks, right? So they're going to be the porters and the people out at the curb,
right?
And the guy that let you park there did a great job. As you know, that's part of the whole experience when you go on a cruise, right? It's not only on the ship, but as you arrive and as you board the ship and as you debark, all those are a big part of the experience. And so we had those folks. We had the Carnival Shore people that did a great job because, as you briefly mentioned before, you had assistants getting on the ship and they did a real good job, made sure you got on quickly. And then as you debarked, you had Letha who helped you 2 times, once to find your phone and then once also to get your bag that you were missing, right? And then just the experiences that you have with the chef and with the other young lady that you met that were just on board. So it's really the sign of a well-trained crew and team.
It was a team. It was a team effort, Paul, and that was what that's what blew me away was everybody worked together because they were all different parts. Like you said, they were different. That's invisible to the passenger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
for me, that was Carnival. It didn't matter whether it was Houston or it was the port or if it was anyone. So those teams working together actually made our experience not a bad one as it could have been, but absolutely a fabulous trip. And I'm so appreciative that you gave me an opportunity to hopefully sometime they might see this, and I would want them to know how much it meant to me. And not just those, because they're specific, but everywhere we went on the ship, the people were friendly, they were helpful. If we couldn't find what we were looking for, all the way down to the person who was sweeping would stop and help us. And I was really blown away by the entire experience. And thank you for helping us get that booked.
It's my pleasure. As a travel agent, when you book these things for your clients, you're always concerned. You always want to make sure they have the best experience they can have. But once they book it and they head out of their house, it's kind of out of your hands, right? You can do what you can do as far as, maybe a little nice touch here and there, but most of it is going to be up to the cruise lines. And it's so great to hear great stories like this because so many times when you hear stories, especially about the mainstream cruise lines, all the big guys, all what you hear is, there's so many people, and I can seem impersonal, and the ships are so big. And you hear people talk about that sometimes, but then every time that I have a client come back sailing with one of these lines, they always have these stories of those great individual efforts that these people on board and on shore obviously also make. And I just wanted to make sure I shared it with you guys. And hopefully, we're actually going to sail with them coming in May out of Galveston. For those of you that don't know, Carnival in September of this year. If you're watching this, then it's later than that. Starting September of 2018, Carnival's repositioning the Vista to Galveston, and they're doing 6 and 7 day cruises on that ship out of Galveston. And so, really looking forward to that. We booked Havana Cabanas. We'll talk about that in another episode. But thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. It was great to have you.
Thank you.
I'm really excited to share this with my channel, and look forward maybe another time we'll have you as a guest boss.
I would love to come and talk again about, in fact, maybe after our cruise, I'll come and
Very good.
I'm sure there's going to be some wonderful people that we will meet. I was just amazed. All was wonderful.
Oh, great. Thanks so much. Thanks for watching, everybody. As you know, if you like this, please make sure you hit the like button down there. Always, I'm trying to, as a new channel, trying to add subscribers. So over here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Once you do that, there'll be a little bell next to it. If you click on the bell, that's going to let you know when we post new content. So you don't want to miss out. Go ahead and hit that bell as well. So as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.